we haven't here a clear situation for the Yemeni case, because we have a case of chaos in Yemen and a case of instability. And let me say the ex-president of Yemen, Ali Abdullah Saleh, I would like to use this expression because he loses the legitimacy, because the legitimacy came from the nation. The nation is giving the source of power and the source of legitimacy.
Yes, this is what the Revolution youth are saying, that
yes,
the legitimacy has been lost by the street. I mean,
yes,
the large number, the millions in
yes,
the street have taken legitimacy away from
yes,
Saleh.
Ali Abdullah Saleh.
But Saleh says legitimacy can only, be decided via polls, via the ballot box.
Ali Abdullah Saleh, 32 years, like other dictators, he is now professional enough to deceive his people or to deceive the West countries supporting him in what we so-called anti-terrorism. That's a kind of huge secret programs against our nations here. But then,
but even the West now, I suppose, are backing this Arab Gulf initiative and are welcoming it.
If he will agree or will approve the Arab Gulf initiative, it means nothing for me. Like if the people in the streets, the protesters, or we can say the rebels in the streets, will not approve this, it means nothing, and they refuse it today. Abdullah Saleh can agree or give an approval in a luxury office, and the non-effective opposition parties in Yemen can approve. Also, it means it equals nothing. We do care about the protesters in the streets.
The Yemeni president insists, he acknowledges that there is that there are millions. He has to acknowledge that there are millions out there in the street calling for his ouster. But at the same time, in his rallies, we see also huge numbers supporting him. So he believes he has a strong enough base that shouldn't strip legitimacy away from him. And he has said, it's only the ballot box that can do this. So he has the ballot box at the moment. And there could be a silent sector in the Yemeni society that could decide after all.
No, Ali Abdullah Saleh, no one believes him now. No one believes him. If he said, I have at least 50% from the Yemen nation vote for me or supporting me, that's a kind of he's trying to deceive the people until to create amendment for his next situation, or try to determine the location of his escape. But no one is supporting him. He believes he has many people supporting him, and I believe he's paying well to the other supporting him. He get more money in 32 years, and there is a business wings supporting him. They are afraid for their business, not for they are protecting the president to protect his business.
Well, one would, I'm sure some would argue, Mr. Elalfy, that Gaddafi in his oil-rich country with the $31.5 billion in the United States, as announced by
according to John Kerry,
there, yes, according to Senator Kerry there, can give the tens or the hundreds of people that we see on Libyan state TV money to chant for him, and can bribe some sectors of society. But in the poor country financially, of course they are rich in human resources, Yemen, and definitely very rich in culture and heritage. But I mean, economically speaking, it's a poor country, and you can't give out money to all these people that we see supporting him, for instance, in his Friday speech.
No, the ruling party is paying to some other leaders to support or to send the people to the streets to tell them, if you are not here, you will not be here. But Ali Abdullah Saleh, he will leave sooner or later. He will leave, and I think he will be jailed soon. And I advise the people of Yemen to go directly to the presidential palace to send him out, because there is no way with Ali Abdullah Saleh even if he will approve the GCC efforts.
Well, the initiative states that he would be immune from prosecution or such pursuit.
But the real people in the streets, the rebels, refuse it. And I from here, I would like to send a message to the Yemeni army to join to the people in the streets, because the army in Yemen, like army in Egypt and Tunisia, part from this nation. They must, it's compulsory to join to the people to stop killing and to protect the nation. That is the role of any army, especially in a country like Yemen. And also as our viewers knows, the army in Egypt and Tunis also protect the revolutions.
We know, of course, there is a split within the Yemeni army. Yes. Some major heads, some big names in the army have already defected.
Yes. Especially his brother General Ali Mohsen Saleh Al-Ahmar also joined to the rebels to protect them. But unfortunately here, Ali Abdullah Saleh rely on the Western support, because he would like to send a message to the West that if I'm not here, Al-Qaeda will work in this area. But unfortunately, he and the West deceiving the Yemen nation and the people in this area. There is no Al-Qaeda in Yemen, and there is no Iran there is no activities for Iran in this area. But he would like to stay. He rely on them to support him to stay more. But now, unfortunately, they believe in the animal rights in the West, but they didn't believe in the human rights in our countries. And unfortunately, a long time ago, the West and US support killers to lead our countries. And now Zain al-Abidin Ben Ali in Tunisia finished, and Mubarak here, former president, and still also there is an agreed silence in the world about the killer in Yemen, Ali Abdullah Saleh, the killer in Libya, Muammar Gaddafi, the killer in Syria, Bashar al-Assad.
Let me tell you something about Yemen specifically, and the Yemeni president has said it. I mean, the number of casualties that have fallen in Yemen is by far less than, although the movement started before even Egypt, is by far much fewer than those who fell in Egypt or those who fell in Libya. Of course, Libya is unfortunately barbarism occurring there in Libya by Gaddafi, who was inciting the people against his own people anyway. Or even in Syria, that moved only a few weeks back. The toll in Syria and the ugly use of force by the security forces of Bashar al-Assad is escalating in a barbaric manner that is trespassing the numbers in Yemen. So here, Yemen, despite the fact it's now the longest movement in the streets, it's the one with minimum casualties. No one, of course, would deny that casualties did fall and that those who caused the bloodshed have to be prosecuted, and it's up to the Yemeni people to say this. But of course, any Muslim around the globe, or any noble person, would have to agree that anybody who killed an innocent person has to be prosecuted. But Saleh is very clear in his words when he says, away from bloodshed. He hasn't ordered bloodshed like Gaddafi. He's not secretly, perhaps, ordering the spilling of blood like Al-Assad is doing, or like Mubarak might have done. But he's very clear about this, and the casualties are minimal in Yemen. So this is a man that according to some, is acting much better than his. Definitely much better than his four counterparts in Egypt, Tunisia, Libya, or Syria.
He's not. He is afraid for more bloodshed. He's trying to lead the country by force, but he's afraid because part of his army now joined to the rebels in the streets. And many areas in Yemen, they have too much military equipments. If he will put the Yemen under pressure, and to try to lead by force, there is an autonomic war or civil war will be done. But I insist, he will leave soon, and not and the protesters will send him out from the presidential palace soon.
Why wouldn't there be an early presidential election? I mean, and this is if Saleh says, you know, it's the ballot box that brought me here, so it's the ballot box that should remove me. So when he says, I'm ready to leave in 3 months, or I'm accepting the Gulf Initiative, and before that he had said he's ready to leave if he knows who is going to get power from him, what he described as the safe hands, because he fears for vacuum in his country, and he knows that the situation is very complex in his country that used to be north and south, and he helped in reuniting it, and the Houthis there, Al-Qaeda, and so on. But the question is, why wouldn't there be a poll now that will go to the people in Ta'az and Adan and Sana'a and elsewhere, and let the people say if they want Saleh to stay until the end of the year, or for 3 months, or to leave now. And if that poll says, you know, he leaves now, then he has to. And we think he will respect it, because, you know, he said it's the polls that decide.
By the way, he's not used to respect his people, so he will not go for earlier election, or vote for the people, allow the people to vote if they want him to leave now or after 30 days. He's not used to respect his people. He would like to lead he's used to go on a compulsory statements, 32 years. So that's absolute power is creating a dictator, and the absolute power create a strange character, like Ben Ali, like Mubarak. So he will not change.
You're saying that there are enough reasons to distrust
yes.
whatever
his people,
32-year-old ruler
yes, his people
could say.
is not trusting him, is not trust his word, and also they are afraid. Also, if they will follow the initiative from GCC countries, the ruling party again
will win
this ruling
again.
party providing the honor and the corruption at the same time. It's incredible to believe them. So the people afraid the ruling party will come again with a new
So they
name.
basically want to do like Egypt and Tunis, make the whole regime fall.
Yes.
And maybe also dissolve the former ruling party, and dissolve all figures and all the system.
Yes,
the
people would like the whole regime to leave, like Egypt and Tunisia and others.
Right. Mr. Elalfy, dear viewers, we have to take a break here. Do stay with us. So we are continuing our talk about the Yemeni revolution and the Arab Gulf initiative for a way out to solve the crisis there in Yemen. Do stay with us. Assalamu alaikum.
Let's talk.